You're paying rent to own absolutely nothing. While someone in upstate New York just bought 5 bedrooms and 4 acres for $49,000. Less than a used car. Number 7 alone gets you 18 acres in New York State for $125,000. I want to show you 10 dirt cheap New York farmhouses that are a real estate goldmine right now. Let's go. Number 10. Houghton. This one's for anyone who's been talking about passive income for years and still hasn't made a move. Here's your move. For $174,800, you're getting 11.3 acres, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and 1,954 square feet. Already solid. But here's the part that changes the math. There's a fully separate apartment upstairs with its own entrance, bedroom, bathroom, and full kitchen. That's a built-in rental unit you didn't have to build or convert. Throw it on Airbnb during Letchworth State Park season, lease it long-term, or let your mother-in-law move in and tell everyone you tried to talk her out of it. Either way, that unit starts covering costs before you've finished unpacking. Outside, you've got a 45 by 52 shop with electric already run, a 6-stall horse barn, fenced pasture, and a converted silo that's going to make every single visitor ask about it. Houghton University keeps steady local demand year-round. Wellsville handles errands without making every grocery run a commitment. Here's the honest part. Upstate winters don't negotiate. Budget $3,000 to $5,000 annually in heating and build that into your numbers before you fall in love with the photos. But a working farm, a built-in rental, a shop, and 11 acres under $175,000 is a combination that doesn't show up twice. That rental unit alone could offset a serious chunk of your mortgage every single month. The next one dropped $93,000 and most people scrolled right past it. Don't be that person. Number 9. Veteran near Horseheads. The seller already did most of your negotiating on this one. All you have to do is show up. This listing dropped from $248,000 to $154,900. That's a $93,000 cut in New York State. When a seller moves that far, motivation is real and timing is yours. Get an inspection anyway, because that's just what adults do. For $154,900, you're getting over 2,500 square feet, 4 or 5 bedrooms depending on how you use the flex rooms, 2 full baths, 4.34 acres, and a detached garage. That combination barely exists in this state at this price. Here's what makes it even stronger. Horseheads is 5 minutes out, Elmira's close. Route 13 connects you, high-speed internet's available, and if you're working remotely in 2025, that's not a nice to have, that's the whole conversation. Watkins Glen and Seneca Lake are close enough for a Friday evening without turning it into a whole production. You're not buying remoteness with a discount. You're buying accessible land with real infrastructure around it. The catch, sold as is. Walk in with a contractor and a realistic repair budget, not assumptions. Budget $20,000 to $40,000 for the work and fold that number into your offer from day one. Even with that built in, you're landing at a real property with serious access for under $200,000 all in. That window closes without warning. Number 8 is where an 1850 farmhouse with a wraparound porch sells for less than most people's student loans. Number 8. Gilbert'sville. Let's be honest about who this property is actually for. You've walked through enough new construction to know grey walls and granite countertops don't do anything for you. You want a house that already has a story before you move in. That's $135,000, and that's Gilbert'sville. Built in 1850. Hardwood floors that have earned every creak. Tall ceilings that let rooms breathe the way newer builds never quite manage. A wraparound porch on a corner lot that's going to change what Saturday mornings feel like. This house doesn't try to have character. It just does, and you'll feel that the second you walk in. The kitchen's already been updated, so you're not inheriting someone else's appliance situation on day one. Upstairs, there's flexible space that works as a guest suite or a second kitchen if multi-generational living or a rental setup is part of your plan. Oneonta and Cooperstown are both within easy reach for restaurants, shopping, and daily life. You're getting the slower pace without giving up the infrastructure that keeps living functional. Here's the part the listing won't tell you. Local jobs are limited. This isn't the move for someone needing a daily office commute, but for remote workers, retirees, or anyone who's already solved the income question. An 1850 farmhouse with this much character for $135,000 is a sentence that doesn't exist in most of this country. Annual property taxes here are low enough that your total monthly cost would make most renters do uncomfortable math in their heads. Number 7. Chenango County. 18 acres. At New York State, $125,000. There's no clever setup for that. It just needs a second to land. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, around 1,800 square feet, built in the early 1900s. Original hardwood floors, a vintage kitchen, real spacious rooms. And here's the part that actually matters. The major systems have been updated, central heat's in, the roof is newer. You're not walking into one of those charming disasters where the character does all the heavy lifting while the plumbing quietly plans its revenge. Out front, you've got open hay fields. Out back, there's hardwood forest giving you privacy, a serious firewood supply, and with a selective harvest down the road, a potential payout that starts making the land pay for itself. There's a classic red barn on site waiting for someone with an actual plan. Livestock, equipment, a workshop, a small business you've been putting off because you've never had the space. Every single one of those works here. Property taxes exist and you should factor them in. But you're going to want to sit with this number for a second. 18 acres in New York at $125,000 is the kind of number that makes people from other states think you left something out. You didn't. This is just what land looks like 2 hours from anywhere expensive. Number 6. Stratford. This one isn't for everyone. That's actually the whole point. $100,000, 6.1 acres on the edge of the Adirondacks. The cabin is 600 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. If you're already doing mental math on whether your sectional fits, move on. This isn't your property and that's completely fine. But if your version of a perfect weekend is fishing a river nobody else knows about, by running snowmobile trails until your face hurts, and sitting under a retractable pavilion roof at night, while the trees do whatever trees do, you're gonna want to stop scrolling right now. That pavilion with the retractable roof turns this from a simple cabin into a full outdoor base camp, and you have to see it to understand what that actually means. The infrastructure is serious for the size. Wood and pellet heat that works. Drilled well, private septic, a workshop with its own heat source. The road's town maintained, which sounds minor until it's January in the Adirondacks and suddenly it's the most important sentence in the entire listing. Annual taxes here run lower than most people's monthly phone bill. Not exaggerating. Check your own bill right now and you'll feel something real. State land surrounds the property, in no development creeping in. No neighbor building something ugly 12 feet from your fence. Just access, privacy, and quiet that's genuinely hard to put a dollar value on. Someone already did. It's $100,000. Number 5 is where 6 bedrooms shows up under $100,000. Just trust the process. Number 5, Afton. 6 bedrooms under $100,000 in New York. Let's not overcomplicate this. For $99,000, you're getting 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2,646 square feet, and a double lot. The septic's already been updated, which means the most expensive and least glamorous surprise in cheap real estate is already off the table before you make an offer. That one detail alone changes the whole risk math. 2 kitchens already in place, a covered porch, enough natural light that you'll stop keeping every lamp on just to feel like a functioning human. The floor plan's flexible enough to run as one oversized family home, a multi-generational setup, or a full renovation to resale play, depending on what your life actually looks like. At $99,000, you get to decide what it becomes instead of the price deciding for you. Here's what makes Afton different from most cheap listings. It's about 30 minutes from Binghamton. That means when you need a real hospital, a hardware store with actual inventory, or just a Friday night that doesn't require 3 days of advanced planning, you can actually have it. Cheap and accessible is a completely different thing than just cheap. And that gap matters more than people give it credit for. Budget $15,000 to $25,000 for the work and treat it as part of the total cost going in. 6 bedrooms in New York under $100,000 is the kind of number people look back at and wish they hadn't spent 3 weeks overthinking. Number 4. Delaware County. You know those people who drive 3 hours out of the city every single weekend to rent a farmhouse with a view for $400 a night? This is what they're renting. $98,000, 12 acres, mountain views, a stream cutting right through the property, a livable 1,600 square foot farmhouse with a metal roof and a sound structure. It needs a kitchen refresh, bathroom updates, and the general freshening of any older home needs to feel current. Call it $10,000 to $20,000 and fold it into your offer. You're still sitting under $120,000 all in for a Catskills area property that weekend renters are already proving they'll pay real money for. Here's what makes this a legitimate income play, and not just a pretty listing. Delaware County has the reputation and the foot traffic. Catskill Park access is right there. The demand from New York City weekenders isn't slowing down. It's growing every year. You could own what they're renting. And that's a genuinely different financial position than the one most people are sitting in right now. Annual property taxes here are low enough that when you see the number, you're going to read it twice thinking you missed a digit. That's not a pitch. That's just Delaware County. Number 3. Mount Vision. $69,000. And honestly, this one's a little unfair. 1880s farmhouse. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 3/4 of an acre. Natural woodwork that newer construction pays real money to fake. Getting built-ins that fit the space like they were always supposed to, because they were. Wide windows pulling light in from every direction, an enclosed back porch, adding real usable square footage. The listing doesn't even bother counting. That feeling of a house that already has a story before you write yours in it costs considerably more than $69,000 almost everywhere else in this state. 1 bedroom on the main floor, 2 upstairs. Updated kitchen connecting directly to laundry, so your morning doesn't involve wandering through 3 rooms half asleep. 1 upstairs room needs more finish work than the other. Walk in knowing that. It's a Saturday project, not a deal breaker. 1 enters close for shopping, schools, and medical care. Cooperstown's nearby. You're not choosing between character and convenience here. You're getting both for less than most people are carrying in student loan debt, which is either inspiring or infuriating depending on where you are in life right now. Here's what nobody says out loud. The total monthly cost to own this place, mortgage and taxes combined, is the kind of number that makes renters do quiet math in their heads and feel something complicated they weren't expecting to feel. These deals exist. Most people just never slow down long enough to find them. Number 2. Charlotteville. $65,000 makes most people assume something's wrong. Usually that instinct's right, not here. 1900s farmhouse. 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. Corner lot in Schoharie County. Here's what makes this different from every other ultra-cheap listing you've ever scrolled past. Vinyl windows already in. New siding already done. Roof already replaced. Modern electrical panel already upgraded. Those are the 4 things that silently destroy renovation budgets on cheap properties. The expensive, invisible surprises you can't see on a walkthrough that end up costing more than the house itself. Here they're handled. Original hardwood floors, reportedly still sitting right under the surface waiting. Partial basement for storage or future use. State land is nearby with hunting, hiking, and snowmobiling across all 4 seasons. Annual taxes run so low that when you see the bill, you'll genuinely wonder if there's been a clerical error somewhere. There hasn't. That's just Schoharie County doing what it does. The right buyer for this is someone who knows the difference between cosmetic work and structural work. As someone who'd rather put in a few focus months of real effort than sign another lease and hand that money to someone else. For that person, $65,000 with the major systems already sorted isn't just a cheap house. It's a head start on something real. The gap between what you'd pay for this today and what it's worth finished is very, very real. Number 1 is less than a used car. 4 acres attached to it. Number 1, Camden. Alright, here we are. $49,000. 5 bedrooms, 4.3 acres, a trail out back and a campsite on the property. A price tag that genuinely doesn't compute the first time you read it. Less than most people's car loans, less than 1 year of rent in a decent apartment in any mid-size American city. 5 bedrooms and 4 acres in New York State for $49,000. Now let's be straight with each other because you deserve that. This place needs real work. Roof, siding, insulation, interior updates throughout. This isn't a light weekend project. It's a full renovation that needs patience, a real budget, and either solid skills or a contractor you actually trust. Budget $40,000 to $60,000 and add it to the purchase price going in. That still puts you at a house and 4 acres in central New York for under $110,000 all in. Rome's nearby. Syracuse is accessible. The town has enough going on that this doesn't feel like a decision you can't come back from. The reason it's $49,000 is simple. Most people won't want to deal with it. That gap between what most buyers are willing to take on and what the right buyer can actually execute is exactly where real estate value gets created. It's always been that way. Send no landlord, no shared walls, no lease renewal where the number just goes up and you absorb it. Because what else are you going to do? 4 acres, 5 bedrooms. $49,000. If you made it this far and you're still telling yourself you can't afford land, open your banking app, look at last month's rent payment, and ask yourself which one's actually building something. Subscribe. There are more of these out there, and the glossy brochures are never going to show you any of them.